War of the Peru-Bolivian Confederation Chincha Islands War of the Pacific. The Peruvian Navy is an executive body of the Ministry of Defense, a branch of the armed forces, and, as such, it takes part of the Joint Command of the Peruvian Armed Forces. The General Commander of the Navy is the highest-ranking naval authority, who holds the rank of Admiral during the fulfillment of his functions. The General Commander of the Navy and the Chief of the Navy General Staff make up the Naval High Command. The Peruvian Navy controls, monitors and defends the maritime domain, rivers and lakes, in accordance with the law and treaties ratified by the state to ensure the independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic. The Navy acts and participates in controlling domestic order, as provided for in the political constitution of Peru and by current laws. It takes part in the social-economic development of the country, the implementation of civic actions and providing social support in coordination with public entities, where appropriate, as well as participating in civil defense-related actions, as stated by law. Henceforth, its mission was defined as follows. Mission to monitor and protect national interests in the maritime, river and lake areas, and support the foreign policy of the state through naval power, to take control of domestic order, assist in the economic and social development of the country and participate in civil defense actions as stated by law to help ensure the independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic and the general well-being of the population. Vision. After Peru's independence in 1821, General José de San Martin, regarded as the protector of Peru, established the Peruvian Navy. The first general commander was Captain Martin Jorge Guise. The relationship of the former Peruvian settlers with the sea dates back to ancient times, to an era when hunter-gatherers, who occupied the Andes, descended into the coast to exploit the rich marine resources provided by the Peruvian current. The exploitation of resources focused first on the gathering of shellfish at certain times of the year, hence the remains of large shell mounds that today are proof of their activity in some areas off the coast. The abundance of marine species would later lead to the development of fishing, initially using hooks and nets from the shore, as it was evidenced by the ones found in Paracas, and then setting out to sea. They had to think up the creation of floating devices that would be later called vessels. The arrival of vessels to the current Peruvian coast was owed to the specific needs that each town or culture encountered. It is not possible, based on current evidence available, to determine the date this process began. But certainly, the coastal man's diet began to include larger fish, which were far from the shore, about 4,500 years ago. Vessels from that time had their own evolutionary process. Apparently, the earliest ones were made of totra and palo and were used for fishing until they became what are currently known as cabalitos, the totra and bulsilas from the northern coast. When Europeans arrived at Peruvian shores, they were able to find a vessel similar to some of their own, with cargo capacity of up to 60 or 70 tons. Its ingenious steering system was suitable for European vessels, giving thus birth to the dagger board or variable keel, a Peruvian contribution to global navigation. Lastly, at the time of the Spanish arrival, small boats had already started to be used for fishing in some areas of the coast such as Ilo and Chenjai. Son of Pachacatec and Coya Anahuac, he was born in Cusco while his father carried out the first expedition against the collar. His name, which can be translated as brilliant or shining, was a name given to the most distinguished nobles. Yapanqui was his family name, which was inherited by lineage and meant remembered or worthy of memory. Pachacatec had initially appointed his eldest son, Amaru Tupac Inca, as his successor, but years later, he chose Tupac Inca Yapanqui with great pomp amid rites and ceremonies. Some chroniclers report that he commanded the campaign to Chinchaysuyo, while others stated that it was his brother Capspac Yapanqui. He is considered the conqueror Inca as he led the conquest of the north of the empire, reaching Tumibamba where his son Tetucusi Halpa was born and was later called Huayna Capac. There he heard about the existence of two islands called Ochumbi and Ninachumbi, crowded with people and full of riches. He set out in search of these mysterious islands on log rafts, having thousands of men under his command. On his return, he brought to Cusco, black people, a lot of gold and a brass chair. This trip lasted about 9 months and could well be Polynesia, for he was also known as the Inca navigator. After building the fortress of Sacsayhuaman, he became ill and died very old in 1493. During the Viceregal